Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing y'all how to recone your sub. This one here I have is a ZV5 15. We have a Recone kit. I'll put a link in the description where I got the Recone from Amped Up Car Audio. Now there's not a whole lot that you really need for a Recone kit. You just really need the right glue. This here is CA glue for the spider and activator, and E6000, that's going to go around the surround for the top of the surround and the cone. That's all that's going to be used for. And then this is for the spider. Now you can use like epoxy, two-part epoxy for like the U model and up. You want to use E6000, but for like Sundown SA or E, something like that, or the smaller models, you can just use epoxy. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my shim ready. Everything's already been cleaned out, blowed out on the inside. If you don't have an air compressor, all you really need to do is get you some of this here. It's just aerosol spray in a can. Just blow the inside of that gap out. You want to make sure it's really clean. You can see down in there that there's nothing in the gap, because you don't want any old chunks of CA glue or any of the old coil down in there, because as soon as you put the Recone in there, if you glue it down and there's stuff in there, it's going to ruin it and it's going to be worthless. So alright, so anyways, I'm going to go ahead. I got alcohol. You want to go ahead and clean the top of the landings for the spider and the surround landings. I already got all that done, let it dry. So we're just going to put a little bit of bead right down around here, and then we're going to drop the cone in. But before you do all that, you want to make sure that you do a dry fit and set it down in there. Make sure your shim's good. Now I'll show you what I'm using for a shim here in a minute. All you want to do is you just really want to make sure your tensile leads are lined up, and then get your shim all the way down. Make sure it's all the way down, and then make sure you don't have much room to wiggle back and forth. And as far as shimming, this is all I'm using. It's just a printable vinyl sticker paper, and I only use 2 sheets, but it's you know, a little bit harder than your normal printer paper because it's sticker paper. So, but it's actually like 4 sheets of normal paper. It may be different for a stock ZV5 with the 4-layer voice coil. I'm not sure, but this one just seems to work the best. I tried to do one more piece and it was too tight. But you want to make sure you can pull this back out whenever you get it glued down, or you're going to be sitting there with a Recone and a piece of paper in there, and you can't even glue the cap on. So, alright, so let me go ahead and quit talking now that we got it out of the way, and go ahead and drop this thing in there. So what you're going to want to do is just kind of pull your whole shim up and out of there so that it's still in the coil some. Set it to the side. Like I said, we've already got this cleaned up, ready to go. There's nothing in the gap. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop a nice little bead all the way around it. Now, I'm not an expert. This is my first time, but I watched a lot of videos and I'm a visual learner, so hopefully this goes well. Put a small bead towards the inside of the landing, and then I'm going to go back and put another bead a little bit thicker on the inside of that, and just kind of work it back and forth and get it all the way across. You have a little bit of time to work with this before you hit it with the accelerator, wherever the hell it's called. Yeah, I'm going to get a nice bead. Now I think I'm just going to a little bit more just in case. I do not want this spider to come up. This is enough to do 2 or 3 subs. I'm only doing 1, so I'm not going to be stingy with the glue. Alright, and then you want to wipe the tip off so it doesn't dry real quick. And then this stuff doesn't hurt the spider at all. It doesn't do anything, so I'm going to soak the inside of the spider first so that it gets a good contact. Now, like I said, you want to make sure you're pretty much lined up with your terminals and the tinsel leads. And then you want to line up your center holes. Make sure your shim's all the way down, and then that's it. It's down. And now I know a lot of people use clamps and stuff and hold the spider down with like 1,000,000 clamps, but you don't need all that. Sundown sell the weight. That's 10 pounds. And that's exactly what this is, so I'm going to hit it with a little activator. So you don't really need all them clamps for the spider, you just need to hold it down really good. The CA glue, it works pretty quick. And then I'm just going to let that set about 5 minutes, and then I'll pull that off and I'll show you what the next step is.
A few minutes later.
Alright guys, so now that's set about 10 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and pull this weight off. And now still make sure our shim is still down good. Now what I'm going to do is pull this mega roll up. This is a lot easier to do with these big mega roll surrounds. That way I can get in here easier. Now I'm going to go ahead and go right in here all around the edge. I don't know if you can see it. So right here, this edge where it meets the edge of the spider and the surround for the landing, I'm going to go ahead and hit that one more time all the way around with some CA glue and then spray the activator on it. So before you do this, make sure your tinsel leads are pushed back out the way. Now some Recones you'll have to actually build your tinsel leads and solder them and all that. Luckily these aren't that way, so I'm going to get in here and just run a nice good bead all the way around. Nice and slow. So we don't make a mess. Like I said, I'm no professional. It's my first time doing this. But I just want to make this video so that you can see it's not too intimidating. Like I said, it's the first time doing this. But you just gotta have a little bit of confidence and the right tools.
A few inches later.
You have a little bit of time, not a whole lot, but I mean you can spend about 5 minutes doing this so that you get a nice clean bead. I'm sure if I did this all day and got a lazy Susan, I could do a lot better, but I'm just trying to be really meticulous and tedious and careful right now. I can actually spin it a little bit on this table. So I know I said this is my first time doing this, but I do installs in North Central Florida area, and this is going to be a new service I'm going to be offering. So if you need your sub Recone and you don't really want to do it, you can hit me up and I'll get it done for you. This is really the most crucial part of getting this spider glued down. because you can always re-glue your comb back down if it comes back up. But if your spider comes up and your coil leaves the gap, then it's done. Like you're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna have a blowed sub. So, alright. I've seen a lot of people go in back behind and take a popsicle stick and smear all around, but it just looks really ugly. I'm gonna do that. I think I got a nice good bead, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with the activator. Like I said, this doesn't hurt any other parts, so you can be as much as you want with it. Probably don't need to be as much as I'm doing, but like I said, I'm new to this and I just don't want the spider to come up. And if you don't know where you started, you can kind of see it bubbling up. It's almost instant. But yeah, it's almost instant. You can see it bubbling up. So, and yeah, so that's it. The spider is glued down. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the bead I ran. Like I said, it's not probably the most professional bead, but you can see where it starts to bubble up. That's where the activator is working. But yep, that's what you want it to look like right there. And I'm gonna let that set a few minutes, and then I'll start working on the tinsel leads, and then we'll get ready to do the surround. We're almost done. We're halfway there.
A few minutes later.
Alright guys, so now that that's set up, everything is good to go, and the magnet just snatched up an Allen wrench from my terminals. Next, you want to hook up your terminals. Now, what I like to do is put the washer and the nut on top of the lead and the terminal ring. That way all I gotta do is stick it on there, start it by hand, and it's good to go. Same thing with the other one. One of these, the other side, has a broken terminal, but we remade one. Actually bought one that Sundown sells them for about 10 bucks. Sundown sells these terminal blocks for about 10 bucks and free shipping if you order directly from Sundown. I actually ordered some, so we're waiting on it. But if you order from Sundown from the website, they take forever to ship apparently. So if you want it quicker, like we have a show or a competition, we're trying to get the sub ready, you can order off Amazon and pay a couple more dollars and have it like the next day. And also, if you are changing your terminal block and you're hooking up your tinsel leads and you don't know what's positive and what's negative, the left side is always positive, the right side is negative. And that's for all Sundown subs and most companies. So now we got the leads on there. Shim is still in place, and I want to show you what I was talking about the gap here, why you have to shim it. So if you see there's a little gap there, you don't want the coil to be rubbing on the side of the pole, and you don't want these papers, you don't want them to overlap. Like I said before, this is just printable vinyl sticker paper, and these sheets are 8.5 by 11 inches, and it's just 2 sheets folded around, and they're almost touching. So that's what you want to have for your shim if you're making a homemade shim. Alright, so now it is time to do the surround. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. so don't knock me. Now you have holes here for your mounting holes. You don't really want to go over those, but you can go up and kind of go around them. You want to make sure that your spider is glued all the way down. And this is not the kind I wanted. This is the clear kind. I wanted the black kind, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and clean the lip of the surround right here with alcohol, because during shipping and processing and making it, I'm going to tell what kind of oils and contaminations actually got on it. So you want to make sure it's clean so that the glue here is really good. And you want to also make sure you scuff your landing up really good on your spider and surrounds. I use a wire brush. It works great. Just a little wire brush for your drill. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. And now for this, these clips, I have a bunch of clips here. You have your gasket and it's new. This one, see how it's a little worn out and it's ripped in a few places. It's been used and taken off a few times, so it's not as tight as it should be. So you maybe want to get some clip, but if you're ordering a new gasket, you can just use the gasket. Alright, so and this here you have more time to work with, so it's not going to dry like a epoxy, so you don't get a mad rush and try to get it hurt. I'm going to start right here, a nice thick bead all the way around. Going around the bolt holes. Nice, good, thick bead. Like I said, I like, I don't know, a little bit too close to the edge. I like the black stuff because you can see it better. But, like I said, this works just as good. Okay, that's it. Cap back on, and then we're just gonna kind of roll this down all at once. Let it flop down. You might have a couple sides poking out or not out enough. Just want to work your way around it, all the way around. Make sure it's down in there all the way. Make sure your holes are lined up right. If you got any extra, you can wipe that off. And now you want to take and make sure you're going to get glue on your hand, but you're going to make sure you got this surround all the way out. I went a little heavy with the glue, like really heavy. Make sure it's out all the way where it needs to be. So I'm going to go ahead and put a big clip maybe a second. The bigger clips actually don't hold near as good as the smaller clips do. Okay. And now I'm just going to go in between each mounting hole add a clamp on. And now I'm going to go where all the bolt holes are. And that is all the clips that I have, but I have a few more from an old jumper cable that was no good. And I have a few more off my little battery box. I know, I should have got one clamp, but you know, it is what it is. It'll work. I'm just gonna put one here, and one here. Alright. And now, I'm just gonna pretty much let that set for 24 hours, and then I'm gonna wait a couple hours and pull my shim out. I'm gonna go ahead and give a little test bump. You can hear there's no coil rub, nothing like that, so we're good to go. And then all that matters is that it is a good Recone and that everything is down and sealed in the right place where it needs to go. Like I said, I'm gonna let that set for a little longer, and then once this gets a little more tacky, I'll pull the shim out, and then I'll put the dust cap on there, and that'll be a complete done Recone.
One eternity later.
All right, it is time to do the dust cap. So I went ahead and cleaned it with alcohol. You want to make sure that you take some kind of sanding pad and just scuff the outside, and then clean it with alcohol. Make sure you've got something for it to stick to. And I made me a little handle with some tape, and I'm gonna just take the Sundown logo and line it up with my tinsel leads. You want to make sure you pull your shim out first. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull my shim out. Like I said, just 2 sheets of paper, printer paper for vinyl stickers, lifesaver. I'm gonna go ahead and look down in there. The gap is pretty centered. I mean, it's a hair off to the one side, but not near enough to hurt anything, and we're good to go. So there's no rubbing or nothing. The spatter is already set down, ready to go. So that's where it's going to be. Now, Sundown's bigger, most of their subs have a ring around it to show where they're set. Now, you don't want to put glue on the outside of it. You want to put it on the inside, the bottom of it. And then I'm going to put glue on the bottom of this also, so that it runs down. And we are almost done. Okay. I got a little bit extra, but don't worry, you can wipe off the extra later if you get it too high. So like I said, looking at my tinsel leads, I'm going to try to line up Sundown logo, just drop it in there, give it a little bit of a twist, push it down. I'm going to go ahead and remove my tape. And like I said, don't worry about if you got any extra on the outside, you can wait a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and take my weight, stick it back up here, and leave it. Just going to leave it, and 24 hours, it'll be ready to test. So that is it. That's a full Recone, top to bottom. And like I said, they sell Sundown. They sell these weights, the Sundown dust cap weights. They're 10 pounds each, but they're like $40. I already had this laying around, and it's nice and easy. I can just grab it, pick it up when I need to. But yep, that is it. Full Recone. And there is my glue job for the spider landing. Like I said, it's not too bad actually. I don't think I did too bad for my first time. So, but that's it. Now we wait and test it out. I'll do a low frequency tone and run it for a few hours and get it to break in a little bit, and then we'll throw it in the box and see what this thing's gonna do. But alright guys, I really hope you learned something from the video. Hope it helps somebody out, and if you're ready to do a recon, I hope this helped you get ready if you were kind of scared like I was. But like I said, really not that hard. Don't really need a whole lot of stuff to do it, just need to do it right. So alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one.